I'm Janet Morana, Executive Director of Priests for Life. Welcome to our program. Well, here at Priests for Life, we're really excited because this past fall we announced an essay contest for the young people out there, pro-lifers out there. And we had a college level, high school level, and junior high school. And we've got like over 100 or more essays came flooding in. We had a panel of judges judged these essays. And today joining me is our high school winner, and her name is Charlotte Swannack. Charlotte, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much for having me on.
Great to have you. So tell our folks, first of all, what school you go to and how old you are, and just a little bit about your background.
Yeah, so I am a junior in high school. I am currently homeschooled, and I live in North Carolina.
So have you been homeschooled all your life, like since you first started going to school?
No, I started homeschooling in about 5th grade, and now my entire family's homeschooled.
Okay. So here's a question. It has nothing to do with the essay contest, but inquiring minds want to know, how did you feel about being in a classroom with your other friends and now homeschooling? Do you have an opinion about it out there?
Yeah, so when I first started homeschooling, it was definitely a big shift. I was just going to school every day and seeing a bunch of people. But now that I'm adjusted to it and have been homeschooling for a while, I really like it. It gives me the flexibility to do school, but then to also be super active in the pro-life movement. So I have a Students for Life club that I'm president of, and I'm state captain for Students for Life of America. So I definitely love that aspect of being homeschooled, so being able to do my schoolwork and then fight for life.
Oh, great. So before we get to your essay, let's just talk about your passion, because I feel this passion in you about wanting to do something to bring an end to abortion. How old were you when you first became aware of this issue?
Yeah, so I first started getting involved in the pro-life movement when I was in 8th grade because I was invited to join my church's Respect Life Committee. So at that point in time, I didn't have much knowledge on abortion. I just kind of had the understanding that killing innocent human beings was wrong and that I should do something to stand up for them and stand up for their right to life. So through sitting on that Respect Life Committee for about 2 years, I began to learn more about abortion. And through learning more about abortion and the atrocity and what was really happening, I felt this calling to get more involved in the movement. So the people on a Mother Teresa Respect Life Committee, that's the church I go to, they started giving me roles and tasks so that I could help the pro-life movement and make a difference. One of the first projects I ever did in the pro-life movement was the baby bottle drive for our local pregnancy center. And through being given those small tasks and having purpose in the movement, it greatly grew my confidence, and I felt like I could get more involved. And like that I could actually make a difference. Yeah. So, and then in 9th grade, I attended Camp Joshua, which is a camp put on by North Carolina Right to Life. And through that camp, I just learned even more about the abortion issue, but also about other pro-life issues like euthanasia and suicide. And after that camp, I was like, okay, now like I really need to get involved. I have to do more than I'm already doing. So I started a Students for Life club that recently won Best Group of the Year by Students for Life. And since then, I've just been a super active member of the pro-life community, and I'm trying to inspire others to be more involved and fight for life.
That's great. So how did you first hear about our essay contest, and then what was the spark that lit inside of you to say, hey, I'm going to write an essay?
Yeah. So I'm a fellow with Students for Life of America. So I first heard about this essay contest from them. They sent it out to all their fellows, encouraging them to apply. And the reason I decided to write my essay was because I had been involved in politics starting this year, and I had seen that it is so incredibly important that all members of society are involved in politics and are fighting for what is right. So I kind of wanted to write this essay to share my passion about fighting for politics as a youth and hopefully inspire other high schools students to get involved in the pro-life movement, because just because we're young doesn't mean we can't make a huge impact.
That's great. Well, I'm sure people are, inquiring minds want to know. So Charlotte, without further ado, could you please share with us your essay right now?
Yeah, of course. So my essay is called Stand for the Unborn. In our different stages of life, we are called to different paths to building the kingdom of God. These different paths, however, share the same goal and the same divine call. From participating in peaceful protests to organizing sit-ins to simply being a voice for what is true, teenagers have positively impacted human rights movements throughout the history of our country. The high school students' inability to vote does not negate their moral responsibility to work towards securing a country that protects and values life. During the civil rights movement, high school and college students played important roles in changing the culture of their communities, which had the broader impact of changing hearts and minds on the national level. In Adkins, North Carolina, a group of over 700 high school students walked out on their school in protest of the unjust treatment they were receiving in comparison to their white peers. Through this walkout, the students achieved their goal and received the same educational resources they were fighting for. The youth that were involved in the civil rights movement played a huge role in the fight for racial justice, shaping the outcome of the movement and resulting in the nation that we have today. Mother Teresa once said, "I alone can't change the world, but I can cast a stone across waters and create many ripples." A singular protest, a singular sit-in, a singular student may not immediately change the world, but that singular action, that singular student can create a series of ripples that will change the world's course. Our world is once again facing a human rights crisis, and we, the youth, are called to act and speak for human rights for all, just as the youth did 70 years ago in the civil rights movement. High school students can impact the pro-life movement and elections through encouraging Christians to vote, living as witnesses to life and faith, educating citizens of all ages on the value of life, and praying. In every elections, millions of Christians abstain from voting. Students in high school can increase the Christian vote through sending letters urging the faithful to perform their civic duty on Election Day. In addition to sending letters, high school students should engage in conversations with members of their churches and faith communities, encouraging them to vote and reminding them of the precious lives that count on their votes. It is of paramount importance that high school students be living witnesses to Christ and life, demonstrating that the youth of the pro-life movement care deeply about the outcome of elections and will do all that they can to effect a change. This may be done by standing at the polls and handing out sample pro-life ballot cards, ensuring that the voters are educated about which candidates most align with their beliefs. Participating in open dialogue at pro-life tables on college campuses, at state fairs, and at other community events is another effective way to be witnesses to life. Most importantly, high school students are role models for younger students and can educate them on the value of all life and the politicians who support life. By influencing the youngest members of our community, we will see a ripple effect, as the children will educate their families and win pro-life votes. As part of living their call to be witnesses to life, high school students also have the opportunity to become influencers for life, employing the many different forms of social media available to them to educate voters on the stances of the different political candidates. Through using the media to spread truth, youth can promote life while combating the lies spread by the culture of death. Finally, with faith, hope, and humility, we must pray. High school students can pray individually and organize community prayer opportunities, trusting that our prayer is not a last resort, but is our greatest weapon against the culture of death. We can be confident that God will change the hearts and minds of voters, giving them the grace to recognize the value of all life and the strength to defend it. Abortion is the greatest human injustice of our time, and the youth of America must take a stand by living as a witness to the pro-life cause. John 16:33 says, "I have told you this so that you might have peace in me. In the world you will have trouble, but take courage. I have conquered the world." Changing our society to a culture of life is not going to be an easy task, but we must take comfort knowing that God is in control and that through Him, abortion will become illegal and unthinkable.
I'm telling you, very impressive. I also, I liked, Charlotte, that you went back and compared the civil rights movement, to abortion today. Because when you think about it, Dr. Alveda King, niece of Martin Luther King Jr., she is part of our team. And she always says that abortion is the civil rights movement of today. So for you to make that connection, I thought was just really a good, thing there to do that. And in fact, one of the things Dr. King says is that the baby is like a slave in their mom's womb because the baby has no control as to what the mom will do, so that parallel you drew was just really, really very important. Well, I'm telling you, you're very impressive. I can see you running for office one day, maybe. Might be a political future for you because you're quite articulate, well written, and I'm really looking forward to meeting you next week at our prayer service in Constitution Hall. So I hope you have a very, very safe trip with your family, and I'll look forward to greeting you in person next week, okay?
Thank you. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay. God bless you. Safe trip.
Thank you.
Well, brothers and sisters, I hope that inspired you. I think the future is in good hands with people like Charlotte. And if you're coming to Washington, D.C. next week, I hope you join us on Friday, January 24th, Constitution Hall. There's a 7:30 Mass, and at 8:30 the prayer service starts. You'll get to see Charlotte and our other winners up on stage, and they'll get their awards. And of course, it's a beautiful, inspiring prayer service. Constitution Hall is a beautiful venue. And then you'll have plenty of time because the service will be over at 10:30. You'll be able to get down for the rally for the March for Life and March. And then when you get to the Supreme Court, please stop and listen to the testimonies of the women of Silent No More. This is Janet Morana, Executive Director of Priests for Life. God bless and see you in D.C.